We're there.
Good evening and welcome to the show.
Our version of Lookie's jingle for the intro. I wondered why you were getting all that paperwork ready. Yeah, okay, that makes sense now.
I should have shared it with you a bit. That was a little bit
You
rubbish.
didn't tell me that. Anyway, hi, welcome to the Wiccan Warriors Sunday show. Tonight, we're going to be talking a little bit about us, a little bit about the week we've had, the good, the bad,
the ugly,
the psychic night that we had at Ryan's on Friday, which was an awesome night. So we've got some things to say about that.
busy night.
And we're hoping that some of the people that were there kind of get in touch and say, oh, yeah, we were there and it was good.
Please say nice things.
Then we're going to talk something a bit more lighthearted. We're going to talk about films and shows that cover things like mediumship and ghosts and demons and angels and spooky stuff. And whether you think it kind of hit the mark or missed the mark, whether it's complete bullshit, whether it's good, whether you think, oh, that's kind of close, or were you inspired by a film? I want to know.
All right.
So the next
Quite
one's gonna be
needed tonight.
Well, no, I'm going to make you speak now.
Oh, jeez. Can I have a drink first?
No, come on.
I've had a very busy day. Hold on.
You have had a very busy day, actually, to be fair. So, yeah, hi, welcome to the Wiccan Warriors Sunday show. Can I just quickly put the two quickest people that always arrive first? So, Marion, I hope you've had a good week. And Danny, it's good to see you. I hope you've had a good week.
Howdy doodle.
So, yeah, so if you've not watched this before, my name's Alistair and this is Penny. Penny's now going to tell you a little bit about herself. Put you on the spot. Ba-ba-ba-da.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. So, I'm a lifetime empath. I do a little mediumship, but I don't say that I'm a medium.
No.
I'm more of a large.
Boom.
But more of a, from an empathic point of view, and anything else is a bonus. It's a gift, if you will. I'm a doula, which means I support people emotionally to have babies and things, and with a bit of antenatal and postnatal support. I'm a dowser, third generation. I use it for contact with spirit. The previous two generations did it for different reasons, usually to find water. From a farming background, but third generation dowser. I'm an advanced master herbalist, but I don't really do a lot with that.
Thanks, I work with the herb.
Right. What else am I?
No, you're pretty good with herbs when it comes to Sunday dinner, though.
Paxo. I hope we get a sponsorship.
Yeah. That's the kind of sponsorship I could freaking support as well.
All right, let it go. It's just food focused.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm a Reiki master teacher, and I love doing that. What else am I?
Well, what are you when you're not doing the spiritually stuff? What are you in civvy? You know, when we go out near the muggles.
Near the muggles?
Yeah.
What, other than trying to blend in and pretend I'm normal?
Yeah, no, because we both hold down jobs with the muggles.
We do, with little tiny muggles. So I do SEN stuff in a primary school with children that have greater need for emotional and practical support to be able to be in mainstream education.
Do you think that complements your empathy, mediumshipy?
I think it
stuff?
does. I think it does. That and the fact that I love cutting and sticking and glitter and stuff, that helps no end.
Because that leads us on to a nice segue, you see, because I do the same. I'm going to talk about me now. Is that all right with you? Are you finished?
I think you should. Can I play on the phone for a bit?
No.
Might be a while.
So, yeah, my name's Alistair. I do class myself as a medium and a shaman and a tarot reader. I also do psychometry on buildings. And I specialise with tarot from a life coaching point of view, which is why it kind of tags in with the shaman work. And in Civvy Store, the Muggles, I too work with kids that need special educational needs, but I work with the older ones. So the kids I work with are sort of 12 and above. Some slightly younger, but not very often. It tends to be the newly teen. And it tends to be the lads I work with that need behavioural help. So, and that's why I said to you, because I think it does help. Because you can, when you open up kind of empathically working with somebody, you get a much more honest person to work with, because it doesn't matter what they're saying as such. You know that what they're saying is masking something, or it's a defense mechanism for something. So the empathic side of working with somebody means the deflecty stuff they do,
and
I
we're
can balance it out a little
more
bit.
observant.
Yeah,
I think
I am, with little micro-trees in their body language and things. Kids tend to show you how they feel. They don't tell you how they feel because they get all their words wrong.
Oh, little lovelies that I work with definitely tell you how they feel.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been told how some feel. I came away that one day and went, shit, I feel like I've just been bullied in school again. And I'm in my 40s.
I haven't been told that they hate me yet, which is nice. I've had a few that say, I love you, which is really sweet. And it's like, excellent. Can you love me from that distance? A nice appropriate distance. That would be great.
So yeah, other than that, I specialise as a life coach for adults with Asperger's and autism. That, to be fair, that job took me all the way around the world. And that's kind of it's a practical application. It's not looked at as a care position. It's to do with getting somebody who's got autism or Asperger's to learn how to do a job or maintain their own income stream or all their bills, giving them more independence. Because I always feel there's a gap in the health care sector that doesn't cover that for males in the kind of 18 to 26-year-olds, where they're trying to find their feet. And even if you're a neurotypical average Joe, that's tough. Learning how to pay the bills and budget and stuff. So yeah, so that's what we do.
That's really interesting that you said neurotypical.
Yeah.
The labels that are bandied about now.
Well, neurotypical has been around for a while.
Yeah, but they're used in day-to-day conversation now. So you'll enjoy this if you're neurodivergent.
Yeah.
And it's like those kind of words were only used in a care or a medical setting.
Yeah, but we do talk a lot more about mental health and physical health, and people are a lot more open to sort of say, yeah, I've got ADHD. What is it? It doesn't change anything.
I've got ADHD.
Yeah, I've got ADHD, but without the hyper bit.
That's ADD.
They don't diagnose that anymore.
I know.
Which is a bit. I don't know if that's county by county though. To be fair, because I've
done
maybe, some bits.
Maybe they do, but your dyslexia. They gave you the letters, and you went, I don't know what that is.
What a word to call something that people who struggle to spell. Dyslexia. I genuinely couldn't write that word. I know there's a Y and an S.
Please don't try.
You know when Joey says in Friends when he has to do a hard sum, that's me trying to spell the word dyslexia.
So it makes you look like you're really intelligent.
No.
Okay.
So what? So that's a bit about us. Sorry, we waffled on for a little bit there. Sorry. Yeah, you spoke quite well there.
Okay.
That's what people tune in for. It's banter.
Okay.
So what about our week? What kind of week we had?
Can we just say, one, don't jiggle the table because it jiggles everything else. And it seems that our stream's a little bit laggy and not getting any better.
Yeah,
so,
it does feel a bit laggy.
Sorry if there's a bit of an issue. We'll keep talking. So at least in theory, you'll be able to hear us if you can't see us.
It keeps speeding up and slowing down.
Yeah. Okay. So, sorry.
No. You can go on to
this week.
Yeah, this week.
A pretty good week, actually. Certainly from the work perspective. Lots of positive things happening. Friday was a bit pants. Saturday had moments of pants.
Yeah.
Today, super busy since I woke up this morning.
Yeah, all you've done pretty much is iron all day.
No,
and did the fish tank.
I did the fish tank first thing this morning. That's never a fun task. Cut my granddaughter's hair. Did some tidying up. Did a bit of washing. And then did an epic pile of ironing.
You did?
Yeah. And you cooked dinner.
I did.
Yay! That's always good. So, a pretty good week for me, I think.
My week started off pretty crap because I upset the agency because I couldn't work because my car broke.
Dashboard bingo.
Yeah, all the lights came up, so I took it to a garage The idea was to take it to a garage. It was the other side of Kettering, and then walk home because I couldn't arrange anybody to come and pick me up. Everybody's at work, obviously. So yeah, the plan was to walk home via my barber's, which everybody see my new cool hair. Just let me know in the comments what you think. Weird. But that walk was 2 miles. So I walked as far as the barber's and thought, that's fine. I literally got a quarter of the journey left, like half a quarter of a mile left. And then the garage rang me and said, no, it'll be done in about an hour. So I was like, okay. Do I walk home and then go and fetch the car later when you get in? Or do I just walk all the way back? So I just walked all the way back.
Yeah.
And it was good. I actually took that was like 3 hours, 3.5 hours, including the haircut time. That was just a walking pace. I wasn't driving anywhere. I wasn't going anywhere quickly.
Well, you got to see things that you don't normally see when you're driving.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's some beautiful architecture in Kettering.
Mm-hmm.
It's some old buildings, especially along that, I don't know what's right, it's like the 509 or whatever it's called.
Pytchley Road.
Yeah. There's some lovely houses in there, set back ones as well. They're really nice. I mean, well out of our budget.
Really? Shocker. Okay.
But what else did we have happen this week? Where did we go Friday night?
We did the psychic night.
We did. We did a psychic night. Say hi if you're watching and you were there.
We went to the lovely Ryan's coffee shop where we were spoilt with coffee, and my favourite was the lovely Mickey who appeared out of nowhere with a second cup of coffee. It was like, yes, that's the way it needs to be forever, everywhere I go.
I did quite like the little, Alex was doing me little double espresso shots.
Was he?
Properly putting some sugar in them as well, sweetening them up. It was like a caffeine boost. It
was a really busy night.
Yeah, I think we established that there was perhaps we oversold that one a little bit.
No, I think
no, I don't mean as in
we started late.
It just went on. I get chatting.
We started a bit late. We got a bit chatty with people between at the beginning, and at one point Alex was tapping his clipboard at me. Like, it was sort of, everybody needs a reading. It was like, yeah.
Oh no, that bit I didn't mind. I go around people all night. It was the time constraints because we needed to sort of leave the venue, so to speak.
Yeah. We overran by 45 minutes.
Yeah. I know, but I was giving the readings. So if the information's flowing, I kind of keep going. If the information's flowing, I keep going. That's my little jingle for my psychic night.
He's had no espressos.
That's a good, strong coffee, though.
Yeah,
everybody's a bit quiet out there. Nobody's saying anything. We've got Jess, who's put a suggestion, excuse me, for the films. And
we will come to that.
Yeah, I agree.
And hello, Jess. Hi, Jess. We'll get to see you again at some point.
But I really enjoyed that psychic night.
I did. Like I said, it was busy. And a couple of people did say, how have you not lost your voice?
They have absolutely no idea how much you talk, how much stamina there is in your voice. You know when you see one of them cut shots in a TikTok video, it goes like that.
About that, yeah.
That's what just happened.
Yeah, about that. And the lovely lady at the end who didn't want to put me out because we'd already run over.
Yeah.
But hey ho.
Oh, I had fun on each table. Because I... Oh, sorry, were you about to say something?
No.
Oh, I thought you lifted your hand like you were telling me I was going to say something. No, each table I went to, because I explained at the beginning that, I've got my tarot cards with me, but I also have my rose quartz skull. Bird skull. Which is really good for people that I'm not sure whether I want to do a reading for with the cards or if I want to do an energy reading and work psychometrically, yeah. My brain, as I said that in my head, went psychedelically. I went, no, dickhead, that's wrong.
That's a different kind of.
And then I'm not going to tell the real one. So if I wanted to work psychometrically with people, that's what I did.
Yeah.
So each person kind of got a different kind of reading. Some people I was happy with 3 cards, and the cards were sort of, this person needs this kind of information. And others, there was 4 card spreads. But weirdly, we both changed our spread, didn't we? And
we
never spoke
weird
about this.
moments that happened where we changed what we did.
So if you had a reading, which you would have done on that night, you'd have had a reading from me in a particular way and one from Penny in a particular way.
Yeah.
But we've never collaborated or said how we do spreads. I don't have a traditional spread. And
anybody that was there and has had a proper reading from me before knows that even though sometimes I'm drawn to the four topics, usually I'm not. Usually I'll just go with the flow and see what comes. And you end up with most of the table covered in cards. I don't go for the pretty round the world ones, the clock face and the cross, and I don't do those. I just tend to flow with it. But yes, you're right, I changed, and I don't know why, and it wasn't for the whole night. It was just a random section of the night when I started the spread completely differently in a really ordered way.
Yeah, I did exactly the same reading for 3 or 4 people throughout the night. It came up as that was the way to read it. It was like 3 columns.
That's it.
And I'd never read my cards in that way before.
No, me neither.
As a sort of a pattern, and it worked for those people that I was reading. So I personally think our mediumship and our energy connected. So we were reading the whole room.
Yeah, because I couldn't see or hear you from where I was.
No, I was out working the table.
You
like the Vegas
was
magician.
outside and I was in the corner inside, but really only facing the person that was in front of me. I couldn't really see you, or I couldn't even hear you.
No, see, I would sit down with a table. There was like 4 people on each table, and then I would read for whoever I think.
So that was the first weird moment.
Oh yeah, what was the other weird moment?
The other weird moment was a lady sat down and I started reading for her, and it was really muddly. I really struggled, and it came out in 3 or 4 like completely disjointed subjects. And I just could not get past that. And it had to be one of those, I'm giving you the information that's coming through, but I don't know how that's coming through or why it's coming through in that really disjointed way. And then the next lady that sat down, exactly the same thing happened. And I was like, that's really bizarre. I've never had that. Maybe I can't read anymore. Maybe it's gone. And it was really uncomfortable. And then at the end of, was that you? I heard a knock.
Oh, I think it was boy going through the stairgate.
Oh, right. Then at the end of that reading, she said, oh yeah, the same thing happened to my sister that you read for. It was like, oh, well, that makes sense then. Both of you have come here with these ideas of what's going on, and it's broken the information down, and I just couldn't get it at all. But you had exactly the same thing. It
was one of the same 2 sisters.
It was just weird.
They all came out, and I was like, I know my cards always work blunt with me because I'm a man, so I need the information short, sharp, and clear.
Nothing emotional or flim.
No, so give me all the points, and then I'll work out how to deliver that information to the person.
Yeah.
And that came out the same thing. I was like, right, okay, so I've got one about this topic, one about that topic, and one about that topic, but I can't tie any of it together. So just there you go.
It's very peculiar. But clearly we were in tune because that was 2 weird instances that neither one of us have experienced before.
No, one lady I worked with, I'd never done this before at a party. I gave her the skull to hold, and when she handed it me back, my heart immediately was like that. Felt pain, like tight. And my breathing was laggy. I was like, right, okay, no. So I said, okay, and I just calmly sort of said, I was like, if you just put your palm down, skull, and you're going to put the skull in your palms, and then I just cupped her hand and that.
Oh, so she absorbed some of it back.
Yeah. So no. So I said, I'm not going to give you a reading. I'm just going to sit here, and me and you are going to do some Reiki, and we're going to move some energy around because I need to draw some of this negative. Her heart chakra was it felt like a black hole, kind of like it was just oppressed and like lack of confidence, and everything was just into this spot. So I sat there and drew as much as I could out of her. My hands were glowing bright. My ears are glowing red. I can feel them burning up because I'm thinking about it. I'm making everything run.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And I must have sat holding her hands for about 10 minutes, just cupping that and just going, this is all we need to do.
Oh.
I just need you to clear these chakras. Get a necklace or a stone that links to the heart chakra. I couldn't remember off the top of my head. I still can't now. And use that to sort of really clear your heart chakra because it needs clearing. And I didn't actually give that lady a reading because I didn't feel it was necessary.
Well, I read for everybody, so she did get a tarot reading.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But it was more about healing. Yeah. So some people, we had some dodgy topics. I like it when it comes up about intimacy and relationships.
Yeah, I had that as well.
They're always an interesting topic to cover. That's the sort of embarrassing end of things. It gets harder.
I had some not great news to impart.
Yeah.
Which I'd kind of had a run of this isn't very nice information that I'm sharing with you, but that's always a warning to take time, take stock, have a look, see what you need to change, or be prepared because good stuff's coming. So that's quite interesting. But when it was getting to the point of I really need some good stuff now.
Yeah.
And then the next reading was amazing and everything was lovely in it. It was like, yeah, that's better. I can breathe again. Because it's quite a emotional journey connecting with that many people. I mean, what was it, 18?
Yeah, it was 18 now.
18 people.
See, we'd capped it originally at 20, but because we both chat and get into the readings, the time constraint, or we just have to make it so it's later.
We needed to start earlier.
Yeah, but then we've got to bear in mind, it kind of almost needs to work from both ends, me and you, but we can't. Because there's always going to be one person that's waited potentially the whole time.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that,
everybody got a reading.
No, I'm not saying there's anything negative about it. Everybody was happy.
I didn't feel as bizarrely, even though it was more people, I didn't feel as drained as I did after the first one.
No, I think I'd wound myself up for the first one.
Yeah.
So I get nervous. I do get nervous.
Anyway, so it was really good. Right. And potentially there are a few people that are going to book.
Yeah, we had a couple of people say it because obviously we do this.
Quite large events. At least one is considering quite a large event. So
yeah,
that'll be great.
But we also do this from our own home. You can actually book an appointment to come in here and have a proper life coaching. It's about 45 minutes to an hour, tarot reading and mediumship, and get an actual plan put in place of changes and things that you may potentially want to change and edit.
Or we can come and do tarot.
Oh, we can do the spooky stuff, the mediumship in your house, do some cleansing and stuff like that. But anyway, I just want to quickly say we've got a number of people watching. I'm just looking to see who's done liking, sharing, and hit the love heart button for us if you can, if you're there.
Hi, Joe.
And yeah, I wanted to say hello because people have been arriving as we've been chatting away. So Jess is now there. Wishes she could have made it to the psychic night. That just shows a lack of effort, but never mind. And hi to Joe.
Selfishly a good parent.
Thank you for joining us, Joe.
A selfishly good parent.
Have you given your nan back her dressing gown yet? Because she's chilly. Was it a cardigan?
Who?
Do you remember Jess last week spoke about, she said nan's cardigan?
I don't know what happened earlier today.
Oh, I remember it.
I've got to be honest.
I just remember that a little bit. Oh, Mickey's just arrived. Hi, Mickey. We're literally just in the process of saying how good it was at Brian's. I wanted to say thank you to yourself and Alex for plying us full of caffeine.
Still didn't give you a reading, Mickey.
So I still didn't get any cake, though.
I did.
I didn't get any cake. I completely forgot.
Gluten-free. I think it was gluten-free. I had a little bit of a reaction, but I don't actually think it was to the cake. It might have been the other stuff that I ate that probably wasn't gluten-free.
Yeah.
So that's probably my own fault.
The guys were good because obviously they've got to keep everybody fed and warm.
They were amazing. Mickey was a bit of a dodgy waiter at the beginning.
He looked a little. What's the name of the guy who used to do the All Right on the Night with the clipboard? It was a bit. It reminded me of that because he got a big clipboard.
Oh, Barry Norman.
That was it. I was the waiter for the evening.
You was a little bit ropey at the start, but you got there in the end. Yeah, Manuel from Barcelona.
No, it was good. It was excellent. No, I'm glad the support was excellent.
I already bigged you up earlier. You've only just come in. I already said you was amazing, and you provided me coffee out of nowhere, which made me quite excited. It's like, woohoo! I got another one. That's amazing.
So no, it was good. It was a really good night, and people were there saying, "Okay, when can we book the next one?" So we did briefly speak to Alex at the end. We're hoping to get one booked for either right at the very end of March or potentially the beginning of April. And this time we'll be booking it through us. So we're going to deal with the bookings this time.
So we'll try really hard not to mess up.
Yeah, not for any other reason other than Alex is super busy. He's
super
got
busy.
companies to run.
Yes.
And ours is not running as quick as his, so we've got the time.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on the page, and we'll let you know as soon as we finalise a date at Ryan's coffee shop.
Yeah.
So the topic we mentioned right at the very beginning.
Yes.
Films, TV, series, things like Charmed.
I love Charmed.
I knew you were going to say
I
that.
love Charmed.
I didn't write it on this list, but I kept it in my head because I knew you'd be like that. Women watched it for one reason, men watched it for another. And I don't think many men admitted they watched it.
Mickey, I know you watched it because you named your lovely son
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The reason I'm talking about...
No, he didn't name his son Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That would have been very weird.
That would have been excellent. No, the reason I'm mentioning those ones is because they're the older ones.
They are. And I love
Bewitched.
them both. I quite like that one too.
She should wiggle her nose or something.
Yeah. Which had a spin-off, which was Tabitha the Weather Girl.
Nick Stepani's arrived fashionably bloody late as always.
In no time, carrot.
Celebrities, they're like that.
They're like that, yeah. Fashionably late.
Good evening, Nick. Glad you can join us.
Yeah, there was a spin-off from Bewitched called Tabitha the Weather Girl, and I think I'm probably the only person in the world that remembers it.
Nick loved Bewitched.
Have you heard of Tabitha the Weather Girl, which was the little girl that was the baby in Bewitched, grown up, and she became a weather girl, and she used to change the weather by twitching her nose. I don't think it ran for very long, but I honestly think I'm probably the only person in the world that remembers it. No, Nick remembers it.
Nick remembers it. No, I don't remember that. But that's why I mentioned those ones, because they're sort of older ones, the 70s, 80s sort of things. I mean, what other... I don't know.
Okay, let's go even further back, right? My favourite film. Can you remember what my favourite film is? And it's about spiritualism.
Oh, no, not off the top of my head.
And it's got a medium in it called Madame Arcotti.
Nope.
No?
Nick, who remembers the Queen's nose?
I do. I do. I haven't got 50p. Anyway, yes, but you're right. That was about magic and wishes.
Have you ever felt like this?
No, that was different. Round the twist. We're just slipping into our own little realm of what we watched on telly now. And by the by, with Boy today saying, "Oh, I was looking at Crackerjack on YouTube today." That proper took me back. No, what was I talking about? No, my favourite film is called Blithe Spirit, and it's a really, really old film, and it's about a very English couple in, I don't know when it was set, the 30s, 40s, I think. And they're newlyweds. They're a newlywed couple, and for a laugh, they have a séance.
Okay, it's not a film review. Come on.
No. After their dinner party, they have a séance because it's the thing to do. But the medium turns out to be really good and brings back his ex-wife from the dead,
nobody wants that.
Is then living in the house with them, and it's brilliant, and it's my most favourite film. But it's really, really
the
old.
thought of somebody bringing back any of my ex-wives back into the house—that's a horror film in the making,
they're
straight
not
up.
Dead,
and a slasher movie.
Much as you've used wish magic, then they're not dead. But yeah, that was my favourite. Oh, Mickey's got it. Blithe Spirit. I love that film. I absolutely adore it.
Sorry.
Stop whatever it is that I'm doing, if that's on, and I'll watch it.
Okay. The reason I did it, there's a genuine scientific reason why I'm sort of mentioning these is because the way that films and TV and things have changed over time. Okay. So things like Bewitched, very gentle, kind of practical woman magic.
Yes.
Quite sexist, really, in its approach.
Yes.
But also...
Sorry, Witches of the East End, amazing series, was cut off way too soon.
Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, then we move into the next kind of era where it's then Bewitched, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So girls are getting a lot more kick-ass kind of routines, roles, and it's not quite as like the 40s. It's not, there's no oppression sort of there and stuff. Although they always had men as the lead, so I get that. I don't want all the feminists jumping on the page. But the whole process, things changed. It was less Christian, I think, and I think that's what it was. It was a Christian influence that's got watered down. Now, looking at this,
but it was about oppressing your magic. Certainly, Bewitched was. Don't show anybody. Don't let anybody know.
Yep.
You be a lovely little housewife. You can have your magical moments, but you have them at home, and nobody must know about it. It was very oppressive.
But that's the thing. If I could manifest something and was able to move a cup without touching it and use telekinesis, would I want to tell people?
Well, I don't.
But then we get on to the next kind of films. I mean, basic horror films, sort of 60s, 70s, kind of.
So the portrayal of witchcraft and magic and spiritualism and
it has changed a lot over time. And I thought this number would be higher, but there's approximately in the UK 800,000 actual registered pagans during the census.
I put my hand up. I absolutely put that on the census.
That figure was 253,000 10 years or 10 or 15 years ago. From 253,000 to 800,000. That has an impact on the Christian belief, the Christian structure, which then we're going to go down a little rabbit hole here. Hold tight, folks. That then changes the infrastructure of law and how man revolves around its society.
Okay.
Because now we have power of protest. We didn't have that before because everybody was oppressed. You spoke out, you got shot or hung. But as that liberties become greater, we've got stronger and more vocal. So we're no longer following a God as such that keeps us in line. We're then going to not follow the rules that are put in place from that, which now governs law and most of societal kind of expectations. We're heading towards potential pagan, what's the word? Anarchy. In potentially between now and 2070. That's my prediction, based on some research.
But how many have genuine pagan beliefs? And how many came it during lockdown because they got to plant some vegetables and do a bit of meditation?
That's very true.
I'd be intrigued how the figures changed.
Because technically you can put pagan on the census and you don't have to change anything about your lifestyle whatsoever. All you've done is change the census.
It's just a word.
Yeah.
It's like writing Jedon.
Yeah, well, that's what I did put on the last one.
That's because you're an idiot.
Oh, we got some people turning up.
Okay.
Hazel's just arrived. Hi guys, great meeting you on Friday, and you too, Hazel. And here's Chloe, who didn't come on Friday. She went out for some, was it, COVID or something? I hope you're feeling better, Chloe, more than anything else.
Yeah, and another fashionably late Chloe. Just saying. If he wasn't a witch, what do you think he would have been?
Taller.
A 1950s housewife with being a witch at the edge of it. I was brought up, this is really random, I was brought up C of E. My dad was Protestant, very, very Protestant family throughout Scotland that are part of the Orange Lodge and are a part of the Orange March and all of those things. So I went to church every Sunday as a child, and I actually really like going to church. I still like going to church. Although now I'm outed as a Wiccan, I am worried that I'm going to burst into flames as I walk through the door.
That would be amazing.
That would be hilarious.
I'd like that to happen.
But I think I've said this on here before. It's the coming together of people. And I love singing in church. I like singing myself in church and listening to other people sing and being part of a a comfortable collective.
It's a gathering.
I enjoy that. I like that.
Do you know how?
So I was brought up C of E, but I've looked into a lot of different religions.
All of their Christian buildings are built out of my pagan earth, my pagan rock. So they
Not
built
just
it on
yours.
It is mine. It's mine.
A church.
I am the pagan.
A church can be a stone. It doesn't have to be a
Well,
building.
yeah, that's what they say. It said in the First Testament.
Yeah.
It was just
It doesn't
a rock.
have to be a building.
It's a group of people.
But
anyway, we've kind of got off track. So films that depict this. So let's stick with the church. I think exorcisms.
Okay.
We have got a couple of ideas on here,
Okay.
and I am going to come to those in a moment.
All right.
But an exorcism, The Exorcist.
Wait, before we go further, either let me write it down or Jess suggested one right at the very beginning.
I know. I remember that one.
Okay. Let's not forget to come back to that one.
We won't.
Okay, so The Exorcist. Well, we watched a fun film last night, but I can't remember what it's called, and it was actually from 2009, but neither one of us had seen
It had
it.
nothing to do with an exorcist.
No, it didn't, but the end of it looked like when exorcisms occur. Which is they raised off the bed, their faces contorted, their bodies contorted, and they made unholy noises. But actually, it was about alien abduction.
Because it's a subject I honestly don't know a lot about it. I don't know a lot about demons, exorcisms, people that claim they've been possessed by something.
Maybe we need to spend some time with the lovely Kieran O'Keefe. He is a demonologist.
That would be a good idea.
And get more insight there.
Yeah, I'd like to just, I don't know, probably see some footage that's not Hollywood or potentially been doctored. But I do think the church is quite secretive about that. And I
think it's interesting that the Catholic Church particularly needs to separate. There has to be good and bad. There has to be balance. You can't have good without bad because you've got nothing to compare it to, and it's not good then. It's the status quo. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be the yin and yang, the difference of light and dark. But we don't believe in any of that stuff. We're not going to talk about spirits and ghosts and any of that. And the Holy Ghost is only the Holy Ghost. There isn't anything else. However, we will secretly investigate and stockpile information and go and do investigations, but we don't believe in any of that stuff.
The church has been lying to everybody from the beginning. I don't trust the Pope as far as he could fall over. If you've got that much faith in God, why are you standing in a bulletproof box?
Because there are evil people out there.
But he's there to represent God. Why would God let his number one rep? Why would he let him get shot?
Look what he did to his son.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. But anyway, we kind of went off track.
Anyway.
Exorcisms and exorcist. It gives you an idea of what the church is about more than anything else. The religion and how it's good to be on Jesus' side rather than the demon side, because you end up turning around and telling your mates your mum sucks cocks in hell or something. They're giving you
apologies
that light
if our
and dark.
video gets stopped abruptly now or goes off air or is removed.
But that is, I think there's an underlying.
I think it's very interesting that the premise of how you get rid of demons is to talk to them from scripture, that you threaten them with the Almighty, but you have to read their special book. You have to use their blessed water and their iconology to dispel a demon.
Yeah.
So these demons that are supposedly hundreds and thousands of years old, who existed before Christianity then, how did they get rid of them before? What did the heathen pagans do prior to? Thank the Lord we had the church to step in to assist us with getting rid of these demons.
As much as I want to keep debating this because it covers the church and everybody watches
Yeah,
this,
we need to let that go now.
knows I love talking about the church and Christianity. As a kid that went to Sunday school, grew up, was baptized as an adult as well. So I understand how the church works.
I wasn't.
And I was
Christened
very
or baptized?
confused. I was christened as a child, and I said the Lord's Prayer to be baptized when I was 21, and nothing magical happened.
No.
So it was very strange. It was a very weird
No,
experience. But anyway, coming back to films, right?
Okay.
Right at the very beginning, Jess named one that I've always thought was a very good depiction.
I think it is a massively appropriate depiction, and I think the lovely M. Night Shyamalan hit the nail on the head. It is the existence of two realms in the same space, existing in the same space, but seeing it differently, and occasionally coming together. That's it. The first time I watched that, I went, "That's it. They've got it."
As somebody who works
understand
psychometrically,
it.
I was like, "Oh wow, yeah, there we go."
They've absolutely got it. I'm hearing voices. There's doors slamming, and from their perspective, we're living in their world.
Yeah.
And I absolutely think they hit the nail on the head there.
What about Insidious? Chloe's suggestion. Insidious is part of the Conjuring world. So they already gave it its own world to kind of...
Is that the further?
Yeah. So they talk about the further, whereas films like The Shining and Doctor Sleep, they talk about the Shining. If you've got the Shining, you can interact with spirits.
Yeah.
But in Insidious and The Conjuring, they call it the further, and it's a dark place where people have random lanterns that they're wandering around with. And spirits are just aimlessly walking around like blind zombies in the dark. And then they go, "Ooh, spooky person." Yeah. And they come, what? It's like, okay, I can see the logic kind of, but they've made it purposely spooky because it's a horror film.
Yes. But then it leads on to things like Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Where you've got a boring waiting room with people that have had random accidents. And
yeah, I think that's probably nearer the truth.
I think that is probably pretty good as well. That there's a consideration area, and then you go on to the next process. That and the fact that we've got no idea. It could be absolute free-for-all mayhem with candy floss clouds and rainbows. It could be.
To tell you what's going to be disappointing.
An absolute mayhem. It could absolutely be all of those things. I've lost the plot now because you. But we don't know. We'll never know that. But as an ordered society, we feel the need to say there is a waiting room, there is a list.
Oh, you're talking about heaven. I'm talking about the further.
Which is no, I'm not talking about heaven. I'm talking about the next step of deciding where you go, which is the purgatory, purgatory is seen.
You're talking the Bible now.
I'm just using the terminology that's available.
But there would be no purgatory. There is no.
I'm just using a word that there is a middle place.
Okay, describe it to me without using any Hollywood reference or any religious reference. Describe the mediumship realm that we work in.
I think that there is I want to say a processing realm where when you pass, you go there to evaluate what you've experienced, what you've learned, what you still need to learn to decide the next realm that you move to, whether you ascend higher and don't come back from a reincarnation perspective, you just keep gaining knowledge, or that you loiter about because you actually haven't made up your mind, or you're not actually aware that something's happened. So it like a meeting processing realm, if you like, where there is milling about and sitting about and reading magazines and chatting and
potentially met by somebody
and talking
to
potentially to a counsellor.
Your deaf counsellor.
Yeah.
Nick has put a request in because you said you sang in church. He'd like to hear you sing.
No.
Even though he said please.
Even though you've said please, those days are gone. They're long gone. In many realms previously, I was a club singer, so that never ever happens again. Okay, so
Nick's put a suggestion through. There was a priest, a Welsh priest, I'm sure, Church of England, who conducted a lot of exorcisms. Lionel Fathorpe is the priest. Are you aware? No, I'm not aware, to be fair. Exorcisms isn't something, I shouldn't have picked that as a topic because
you don't know enough about it.
I don't know enough about the exorcism side of it, purely based on this piece of logic. I'm going to make this as short as physically possible. The book is a piece of fiction based on Jesus and the devil. So they made up both fucking teams. So neither team exist.
No, neither captain exists.
Yeah.
There is good and there is bad, but they don't have captains.
Yeah, there's just energy. So yeah, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, that's Jesus and God.
As part of an ordered society, we need somebody to follow.
Well, something to
follow.
Or
someone to blame.
Yeah.
All right. So moving away from that topic, I'm gonna not the topic itself, but moving away from us getting bogged down in the church and the places, I just want to do this. See if I can see if there's any spirits here. I swear to God, if I look through and there is.
It'd be amazing.
There's no one around you. I daren't look over there because she's in there.
Right. My next suggestion is this. Right. So let's think sort of 1920s, 30s, 40s.
Look, I know I'm old, but we've been through this.
I know we neither of us were there. Nobody watching was probably there.
That we remember.
Well, yeah. It wouldn't have been really acceptable to buy your kid a wand and a pair of round glasses and a cape or like a cloak to a fancy dress party in the 20s, 30s because they would be depicting magic.
Let alone you'd made
unless
up
it was
words.
something like Halloween and things like that. But now Harry Potter's fashionable.
Yes.
All this kind of magic, myths, legends, it's now fashionable because it's fantasy. It's what we want to watch. It's what we want to read and listen to.
From before, when you was persecuted for interest in magic or even just interest in herbs to make people feel better and you were potentially hung for that, we've got to the point where it's fine. You can dress your kids up like that and they can utter nonsense words that previously would have been seen as the devil's tongue. And they're saying things like Avada Kedavra.
And do you know how long it's taken? 1,570 something years.
So it's a bit overdue then.
So it was between 500 and 600 BC when all the Christians decided that their way was the best way.
We're not doing that.
No, but that's what started the whole persecution bit. Now we've come full circle where they've realised that people will pick holes in their story and we can make up our own fantasy stories which will then lead people to the true aspects of what is magic. Because earlier when you said you've got to read from a book and throw water for an exorcism, so they're reading their own homemade spells, using their own homemade potions, using their own homemade idolation.
Are you calling the Bible a book of shadows or a grimoire?
Yeah, technically, yes.
It's a grimoire.
Because they've got to read from it to do that.
Okay, right. Okay.
So Harry Potter. So we've now got kids that are accepted as it can be magic. But I have one question.
Oh, God.
It's okay for kids to say I'm a witch, but I think the word wizard's gone. I don't think it's a real word anymore. It's now a fictional word. I don't know any real wizards. Do you? Does anybody know a real wizard? Somebody that classifies themselves as a wizard?
No.
No, I don't. But I do know people that classify themselves as witches.
Or male witches.
Yeah, or Wiccans. Or, that word just disappeared out of my brain.
Okay.
Warlocks. So witches and warlocks.
Yeah.
That's
acceptable. Wizard is just silly. Surely.
I'm only going to flash this comment up briefly.
Oh, God.
Quick one. There we go. Done.
Stop it now. Nick, I definitely...
So, yeah, warlocks.
Nick and Mickey, you two, we need to block them if they carry on with their silliness.
The guys are terrible. You're absolutely right, Chloe.
Wait, because we're missing lots of comments. So Mickey has said he doesn't believe in God, nor do I.
No.
I believe in gods, plural, and goddesses too.
He's not sorry.
You're not sorry at all, and you're going to do it again repeatedly every week.
So yeah, like I said, the way our entertainment world has changed and shaped society to an extent. There was another. The Ouija board films,
This one.
those sorts of things. 13 Ghosts. That's another one. That's one of my favourite films.
I really enjoy that film.
Yeah.
I like the premise of that a lot.
There's two aspects that interest me that I think have some basis in truth. One is the kinds of demons that they talk about, the kinds of ghosts that they talk about, the spoiled baby, the angry witch, the caged-faced woman,
the wronged bride.
These are all kind of manifestations of things that could potentially have happened in the world. And if you manifest enough energy, you can create something.
Would keep them in that processing place.
Yeah.
Or purgatory, for want of a better term.
Yeah.
Just in that in-between place where they're not even aware that they've gone, or they're so...
I totally agree, and they should have done. It would have been brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. For each character, for sure. That would have been amazing. But for... I've lost the plot now.
That weren't my fault. That was Mickey's fault.
It was Mickey's fault. That's why you two aren't allowed anywhere near each other. The emotion that they feel, that anger, the rage, or the I can't think of the word, frustration, or all of those things, keep them their thread tethered to this realm, so they can come back and bump into our world, like in the film The Others, and while that thread is there, until there is an appreciation that thread is still there and there's a resolution for them, that will just keep going. It will dissipate over time, because that's how we end up with residual energy, is because it just gets weaker and more diluted. Each journey dilutes it. But the
other aspect of that film that I like is the spell work, the words, the way that can use for entrapment, and it's glass. Sorry, I'm in Northamptonshire. It's glass. For our northern viewers, it's glass. Along
the path.
It does get a little bit silly when it starts doing all these handles and all the doors start sliding around, and
that's feeding a different audience.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I'm always intrigued by the use of language and spellcasting in films and programs. Merlin, I thought, did it brilliantly, and I became really obsessed with Old English. And I think somewhere up there, I've got the Book of English Magic, and it's around the use of Anglo-Saxon language for spellcasting. In the TV series Merlin, yes, he was a wizard, but he used Old English for spellcasting. They all did, and it was like, it sounds so beautiful and so intriguing. And the symbology of it intrigues me, that none of them use the Theban alphabet when they're spellcasting for these symbols, which is considered the witch's language.
It is. That's probably why they don't do it. Because it would be too real.
Yeah, maybe. To make it more mysterious.
It's like things like Tolkien. He just created the language. I've met the man that did all the writing for all the Lord of the Rings and created that language.
Where did you meet him?
In a hotel in New Zealand.
Oh.
I can't remember the name of the
That
city.
was starting to go a bit dodgy when you went all quiet and went in a hotel.
In a hotel, just travelling express.
Put me a ring.
He said he was a 20-year-old girl, and he lied.
Okay. Stop it.
Right. Yes, this is another one of my favourite films. House on Haunted Hill.
No, the Haunted.
Oh no, that's the Haunting of Hill House. Oh, that's slightly different.
See, I did like that, but I didn't, because I think they made it too muddly. but it had the essence of the others, the coexistence, the not realizing that you're not actually here anymore premise. So it has the essence of truth to it. But saying that, that's my truth. That's what I believe. And you're saying what you believe. It doesn't mean that we're right. It's my interpretation and understanding from the connections that I've made. Other people might have made different ones. There is a gentleman who says that he's this really well-known celebrity and medium on TikTok. It says the most horrendous things about how to prove if somebody is a charlatan medium. And actually, most of what he says is absolute made-up nonsense. Huge following he's got. Absolutely huge. Whereas if he is a medium, he needs to have the understanding that his interpretation will be different from mine and from yours. And trying to call everybody else out and say yours is the only way. Who are you?
That's how religion works.
Who are you? The Catholic Church?
Yeah.
Really bizarre. Anyway.
Another one was Bly Manor. I can't remember that one, to be fair.
Yep.
But House on Haunted Hill, that was my thing I was going to say.
Sorry, I just got really excited by what Nick Stepani wrote.
Oh, my God. One for the girls.
Hocus
Not
Pocus.
Nick. Hocus Pocus.
Have to watch it every Halloween.
I like bits in films where, because I can relate to this, where films like House on Haunted Hill and certain films that cover things like asylums, churches, where the medium's walking around, or they'll have a camera and they move the camera and it goes back to how it looked before. And you get this kind of mind meld of then and now.
Which is what we see.
Yeah, that is exactly how my brain sees it when I'm walking through. I'm like, right, there should be a door there. I don't.
Yes. And
everything just changes. You get the energies of people wandering through or crying or noises that just go. It's like running a little videotape of that moment.
Yes. That's what I said. I see it like a cine film in my
Yeah,
head.
and I've seen a couple of things. House on Haunted Hill did it with got like a steady cam, and she's looking at the camera, looking at an operating room, and it's empty. She brings the camera up and they're all in there working. Back down, it's empty. And it's exactly
like this. Oh, we see through here.
Or if they've seen a ghost.
I swear to God, if you see anything, tell me. Because that would be amazing. These things were invented as a children's parlour game. That thing. Hocus Pocus. I love Hocus Pocus. I liked The Haunting. Was it The Haunting, where it was a group of insomniacs that were taken to a big house and locked in so they could analyse what was causing their insomnia? I think that's Liam Neeson film.
Yeah.
I really like that film. Yes, there's some unnecessary Hollywoodness to it. Of course there is. But there are moments in it where you go, ooh. Like where you see the woman brushing her hair and then her hair parts weirdly because you know somebody's touched her hair and it's like, oh, you've put me off brushing my hair for a bit now. But how the woman understands that she is a reincarnation from the original house and that it was fate that had brought her there.
Well, that's known as House on Haunted Hill. Technically, the house invited all the people because they were children or something to do with the patients there, something like that. So the house wanted to tie up all the loose ends. That's where it gets a bit silly when they start to depict houses or buildings with this kind of
power,
a sense of its own being. It's like
okay. However, in the books by Deborah Harkness, not necessarily the series, because the books depict it better. The discovery of witches, that house has a consciousness and doesn't let people in or kicks them out or moves stuff, and I quite like that. I'm fairly
like it. It'd be good.
I'm fairly certain this house does it to me all the time. Either that, or I'm on my way to the lovely dementia.
But yeah, that was. We best wrap this up. Sit here all night talking about this.
Well, maybe people.
But I wanted tonight to be a little bit more light-hearted. Every week we kind of chat about spooky stuff or what we've been up to, what we're doing. But a lot of what we do actually touches right on the realms of fantasy. Because general muggles can't, I can explain it to them, what I do and how I do it, and their understanding of it will either make them think I'm fucking mental or okay, or they just don't understand it. But
is it considered fantasy, and it's okay to enjoy it light-hearted, entertainment-wise, because there isn't enough evidence and therefore not enough credibility?
no, I meant as in a fantasy, as in I watch people on TikTok that are driving around in Lamborghinis and Ford fucking Rangers. I can't afford one of those, so that's a fantasy to me. Be owning some, although
That's
saying that's my birthday tomorrow, so a Ford fucking Ranger would be amazing.
Yeah, that ain't happening from me, just so you're aware.
Somebody buy me a Ford Ranger. What was I saying? My God, we've lost some tangents today.
Fantasy.
Yeah, so we do kind of touch on that because people can't comprehend the logic of when I say, if I turn to somebody and say, okay, I know that there's somebody standing here, I don't say that sort of shit anymore because people go, ugh, and they look or they move, their energy changes and bristles, and they immediately can diffuse that energy of that spirit by their uncomfortableness. So I just don't say where they are. But anyway, so yeah, so that was tonight's topic. I wanted to kind of talk about films because that's where it's the fantasy side of things. I love the Conjuring films.
We've watched them.
I love watching those. I love a good horror film. I'd like to think in a spooky situation, you know, where if I'm standing there and a door kind of opened right behind me, that I wouldn't scream like a girl and run off or anything or panic. Not saying anything. I don't know who would do that. Have you ever somebody black? Daz Black, I think it was, screamed and tried to shut a ghost out of a door.
You're there to have a conversation. No, get out. No.
If you haven't seen that video,
that's
UK Haunted. It's hilarious.
Yeah, but that's a adrenaline thing.
I know.
That's a knee-jerk reaction. And I've said many times, even though I've had lots of communications, if I'm startled, I'm startled.
Yeah.
I'm human. I'm human.
So yeah, no, I like a good horror film. I like a good scare. I'm much more influenced by psychological sort of scary stuff.
Thank you, Conrad. It's nice you say nice things that are behind our backs, Nick. You say horrendous stuff to our faces.
What's that? What are you reading? Oh, hi, it's Conrad. Excellent. That's brilliant.
It's nice to say nice stuff away from us. To our faces is vile.
No. So yeah, I wanted tonight to be lighthearted. I like the escapism of a fantasy where I can sort of, and it also gives me sometimes the language to try and explain it to somebody else.
Yeah, no, I get that.
It gives me a comparison to compare it with, albeit there's a little bit of scope for exaggeration.
Yeah.
It's not as simple and as dry cut as, it just all of a sudden changes to how it used to be. But if I had to
pick a film that I would say is the closest depiction, The Others.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I would say
The Others. There's another one, We've Lived Here All Our Life or something. Alexander Daddario film.
I don't know, but how did you say that so well? Knowing how you fluff over so many words. Well done.
It's a word.
All right, Granville.
I think it's We've Lived in This Castle All Our Lives or something like that. It's about that. And that's a similar principle.
Yeah.
They've always just been there, didn't have no concept of that they've crossed over or gone anywhere.
They've just always been there.
People Under the Stairs, that's the same kind of logic, the film.
Okay. We are watching
Global UFO Network. We are watching you from afar. Holy mackerel, that's one of the best comments we've ever had on here.
Oh my God.
I don't know who they are or where they're from, but that's cheering out. Anyway, guys, we've got to go. We're over an hour now, and it's crazy.
It is. If you joined us for the first time tonight, this isn't usually how we are. We are a little bit manic, and there's a lot of disagreement and banter and stuff. But there's some really educational stuff if you want to trawl back through our previous episodes.
This is our 48th now. I'm counting so we can do a special edition 50th because I'm going to do some mugs as prizes. I'm going to copy Mickey. Yeah.
Yay.
Let's do some mugs as some prizes.
Some kebabs.
So stay tuned. Once we do episode 50, we're going to do some prizes.
And if you haven't already, pop yourself over onto YouTube.
Oh God,
give us a like and subscribe.
I'd love to have hit the more than 20 subscribers. At the moment, we've got 19, I think. Why all of a sudden our computers decided to just...
I don't know,
pick
it's
up on
UFO things
Yeah,
come
it's
up, and
gone
all
all
of a
weird.
sudden a load of emails have come
So
through.
thanks for joining us, guys. It's been a blast. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you muchly, everybody.
And we will see you next Sunday at 8 o'clock. Right. Say bye, Penny.
Bye, Penny.